welcome to the Business Octopus, where we talk about all things sales, marketing, and tech. Avon Collins, CRM and marketing automation specialist at Relevate and all-around good guy. Today, I'm joined with Filip Fucic from Lift-Off, who is a pricing mentor and helps get people paid more money for the value that they already provide. He's here today to talk about how expert service providers can charge their worth. Welcome, Filip. How are you going?
Pretty good. Thanks, Avon, for hosting me here. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I think it's a little known fact of business owners. You know, they're always trying to get paid for the right amount for the work that they do, but it's sometimes perhaps a little bit harder than it seems, and probably harder than it should be. So why don't people get paid what they're worth?
Mostly because when you're selling, people can try it out or look at it or understand it, right? I don't really know much about cars, but you can't sell me a dirty car and say it's clean. I can see it's dirty, right? When we're talking about services or some of the technology sold over the internet, I can't really see the value, and I'm not going to pay for the value that I don't see, right? So there's a paradox at play, at heart here. When you're an expert in anything, you're basically selling to amateurs, people who don't know as much as you do, and they can't value you properly. There are people who can value you properly, but those are other experts, your peers, your colleagues, your competition. They're not going to hire you. So people who need you can't value you. People who value you properly don't need you. It's a paradox. I call it the expert's paradox. So that's what it's hard. People are naturally not going to pay for the value they don't see, and it's hard to make them see without knowing what you know. That's the heart of the problem, I think.
Well, the nature of services is you can't know what it's like until you've already done it, you've already experienced it. And, you know, it's generally people rely on the word of mouth of others or like testimonials and things that can kind of prove why someone's good at something. And I guess early on, it's probably really hard for even, you know, someone who could be the very best expert. It's just not well known yet, or not well marketed, or not well referred just because they haven't asked for it. So, you know, I would imagine, I can't imagine at the opposite end of the scale, having a top lawyer or a top brain surgeon being bargained down. Generally, people want to hire the most expensive one because presumably they're the best and they're going to get the best result. So there's quite a range there of options.
Yeah, and you don't get that in physical stuff for a reason, right? It's even worse when you go into the creative stuff. So you can get a logo for $20, you can get a logo for $20,000.
Yeah.
And it happens every day, right? And people say, how is that even possible? It is possible. These are not the same markets, but a logo is not a logo. And this is where it breaks down, right? And as you said, services are basically promises of a future state. That's what a service is. So you can't try it out because once I do it, it's already there. Anyway, there's a huge range of reasons why people buy services. And it's not the same if it's, let's say, commoditized service or an expert service. There's a big difference. And it sounds like it's arbitrary. Maybe. If I know that you have to move, right? I can say, hey, Evan, I know a pretty decent moving company next to you. Would you like their number?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. But God forbid, let's say I know that you need a brain surgeon. And I say, hey, Evan, I know a pretty good brain surgeon next to you. Would you like his number? No, thanks, right? If I say I can connect you to the best brain surgeon in Switzerland, you may or may not be able to afford him, but you would appreciate the gesture.
Yes.
And I don't know what you would do with a number of the best moving service in the world. You don't need that, right? Because the difference is when it comes to commoditized services, it doesn't really matter who does it as long as they're minimally professional. If they don't burp too much, they're fine. If then don't break stuff, right? Yeah. And when it comes to expert services, it's not the same. It's not the same if this expert or that expert comes. It's not the same. So the price can't be the price reflects that, right?
Yeah, I think normally when I think about how you would have this conversation with a client that's potentially arguing with you on the price, there's heaps of memes on social media that show the two brickies. One's building a wall, the bricks are all over the place. The other one's building a wall, and they're all neat and beautiful and aligned. And it goes, so you want the cheaper price, right? And they're kind of trying to show you that you're going to get crap at the end. But that's kind of insulting if you're going to say that. Like if I was to go and email that photo or like tag them in a social media and go, here's your a tight ass purchasing decision. So how do you compete with a higher price? How do you compete in the market having a higher price, or how do you compete with someone else who's got a higher price?
Right. You compete on the deal. I'll give you 3 examples. All of them are short. Let's say I need to go somewhere fast and I need a cab. There's 2 cab companies. One of them is always on time. The other one is 30% cheaper and sometimes on time, right? Yeah. Who has the better price? The second one. Who has the better deal? The first one.
Yeah.
I don't care about saving $7 if I may be late. Even if I arrive on time, I'll be full. I'll be shaking. I'll be full of cortisol. I'm nervous. I almost didn't make it. It's not worth it. So the first cab company has a better deal, right? Yeah. Because there's a convenience cost in there along with the monetary cost.
Yeah.
Second example, I need to send my kid to a private dentist. Yeah. I'm not going to send him to the cheapest one I know. He may be, I've worked with dentists who are really good, but nobody taught them how to price. So they think a low price will get them more customers, but they're not selling generic services. It really matters who touches my son's teeth, right? Yeah. So there's the price, monetary price, and there's the risk price. And the risk is preventing me from jumping on this one is the lowest price, but not the best deal.
Yeah.
Finally, the third one, if I'm taking my significant other to a fancy dinner and I get a message that says, hi, you don't know me. I would like to pay for your dinner. I know where you're going. You can have whatever you want. But somewhere during the dinner, I'll come to your table and be very rude to you and you can't respond. Deal? Now, most people would say no. Some people would say, I don't care, I'll have the lobster. But nobody would describe this as a free dinner. You're still paying with your ego, right? So when you're a seller, you only see your monetary price. My stuff costs this much. It does, but it also has a convenience cost, a risk cost, and an ego cost. And all these things together, they make a deal. So in all of these cases, which are fairly simplified, I just highlighted one of the additional costs. You usually have all 4. There's the deal. If you have the best deal, you can absolutely outcompete people with a lower price, because their lower price also means their convenience cost or their ego cost. You don't want to take your date for the cheapest dinner, right?
Yeah,
because it has an ego cost, right? So when you know this stuff, you can communicate that. You can communicate that your deal is the best, but you have to do it in a way that they understand. It's not enough that your colleagues would understand and approve. Who cares? Who cares if your mom thinks that your service is great, right? Your clients need to understand that this is the better deal, and that's on you.
Yeah. Yeah. As you're speaking, I'm thinking, you got the pricing triangle and they say you've got good, quick, and cheap. And I think, with goods, or like something that's transactional, fine, that applies. But I'm thinking expert services, it can be good, like your dentist example. It can be quick because they've done it over and over for years. And it can be cheap just because they're not pricing enough. So the only person losing out is the service provider.
Absolutely.
Because normally you go, all right, well, in a theoretical world, market pressures and forces, you can only pick 2 because, quick and cheap means it's probably not very good. Cheap and good, cheap and good means probably not very quick. So, it's that trade-off.
It may be it may be quick once you get in line, right? Once it's your turn, but it may take a while until it's your turn, right? Some of the best cases for somebody to work with me is that they have too much work and not enough to show for it, right?
Yes.
Because dealing with burnout, that's popular ever since Corona. That's very good, but you have to be able to afford it. Right? Yeah. You have to be able to afford to give yourself the room to breathe and to sleep normally and to eat properly. And you can't just cut off a part of the clients because there's a reason why they're there. You need them, right?
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
you need their money. So in order to get to there, you have to be able to charge properly, right?
Yeah. Like the other day, we closed a massive deal, and it was after the third meeting. We didn't really talk that much in terms of price. They said, "This is what we need." I said, "Well, this is what we propose," and they said, "We're probably going to need a bit more," because they really didn't want to know what it costs in terms of to negotiate. They just want to go, "Have you got the right level of what like the services that we need?" And so it was they never bargained us at all. We actually we're higher than the previous provider, and but for those that say no, sometimes I go, well, what's the price of doing nothing? Because there's a problem that's still lurking in the background. And also, what's the cost of getting it wrong? So if someone else comes in, you're going to have to redo it. We've done that countless of times. One person, it took like weeks and weeks just to undo like funny email thing, which affected everything in the whole system.
I wanted to say there's something jokingly called the tank method of pricing. Okay. So buying a tank is really expensive, right?
Yep.
Now imagine the cost of needing a tank and not having a tank.
I don't know. Ask Ukraine, your neighbors.
Sorry?
I said, ask Ukraine, your neighbors.
I didn't want to go there, but
No.
yes, exactly.
Well, they've got all the ones they can handle now. So
when you're buying something like that, something powerful, you're not really buying the kilos iron and what you're buying is the potential of having this solution when you really need it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You think an expensive accountant is a high cost, try and cheap one. Something like that, right?
Well,
or a CRM.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was about to say. Like, we're kind of touching on the next question I had was, what if I know what they need and they don't? That's the whole thing, I guess, around, what happens if you don't do this? So
look, what it's about is confidence. Experts, so I've dealt with many kinds of experts, but it's always the same problem. You don't really want an expert unless you feel that your level of confidence is deficient to the problem as you see it. Okay. So if I don't really think I have a problem, whether I'm completely blind to it or not, doesn't really matter. I don't want to pay for an expert. I know what needs to be done. I just need a pair of hands. So you look like you have time on your hands. Can I buy some time of your hands? Right. So I need the Amazon Turk pricing, right? The cents per hour. That's what I need.
Yeah.
If I can get that, okay, I'll go minimum, because I'll just tell you what needs to be done, right? I may be completely wrong about this, but once there's a difference, that changes the game completely. So let's say my back hurts. I'll just exercise more. I'll get a dog. No, I won't, but who cares? And then one morning, I can't get up from my bed. It hurts so bad. At this point, my confidence that I can deal with this on my own or dictate to somebody what needs to be done is at an all-time low. And now I don't want the friendly neighborhood, chiropractic apprentice that will be very friendly with the price. I want the best chiropractor that my money can buy right now. Yeah. Because I would like to move. Thank you very much. Yes. Right. Yeah. So people do themselves a disservice by going with the friendly price, because who needs somebody who only has a little more confidence than I do right now, right? So what if you know that they need something and they don't? You need to show them, usually through stories, just like you said, that reminds me of, right? Where the pitfalls are. You need to worry them, not unduly, not more than necessary, but also not less than necessary. Yeah. Right. If I see a client with their eyes closed, dancing on the edge of the abyss, it's my duty as an expert to say, hey, maybe stop. Right. And then then you show them, they're like, oof, oh, okay, thank you. Right. You still didn't sell them anything. Yeah. But you need to worry them duly so that they can see, aha, okay, so there is a reason why I shouldn't be doing this myself. And now you can talk to them. It's like with smokers, right? You can't sell a nicotine gum to somebody who doesn't want to quit smoking, because why should they? It used to be that they didn't know. Now they know it. That doesn't really matter. But what I'm saying is, until somebody is ready to tackle the problem the way it's the real problem that's there, there's nothing you can sell to them, right? So anyway, the short version is worry them.
Yeah. Well, I guess like if I understand the problem, and let's just say they have a problem that is not necessarily one that I guess in that moment they feel is important, and I guess say for example, my wife invented a product and there's a lot of alternative, and so we had to really force it out into the market. And I think particularly for me in the CRM industry, no one wakes up in the morning and goes, oh, I need to get me a CRM. But if it's like some legal thing that they're about to get sued for millions for, or if they're about to, it's going to cost them a lot of money and staff time, even though I think a lot of times people don't realize the upside benefit of CRM, or they don't understand the cost, the time cost of, reworking 10 things over there instead of just spend the money and integrate it or automate it. Like, it's an investment. So, sometimes it's hard to communicate that, or it takes time, or there's a learning process. For me, what we do is like courses and webinars and training, and I guess that's more of a marketing problem. But do you see that as like that group model as a way to do that, as to make them feel that pain, or are you saying it's more on that one-to-one sales conversation?
That's a good question.
It's a complex question.
You can absolutely do both. You can do it en masse, but then I would probably integrate some kind of, you don't want to be the guy knocking on your door saying, hi, I'm a roofing expert. You really have a nasty problem on your roof. You can't see it. You can't tell, but I can. You should probably pay me a lot of money to solve that, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy. You want to give me, in that example, a list of, I don't know, maybe you have a problem with your roof. Here are a list of things. Here's a list of 7 things. If 3 or more sound familiar, we should probably talk.
Yeah, it's a much
that's going to be completely different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You hear a lot about value-based pricing. This is a popular topic, but very little people actually tell you how to go about it and how to tell what the value for the client is. And the trick is you don't.
Yeah.
You have to get them in a conversation one-to-one to realize the value, and then charge them on that.
Yeah.
You can't tell them this is the value of my service.
Yeah.
Because value is not objective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially not services. Absolutely not. We can talk about aluminum if you like, but your service, the value of your services is not objective, right?
I think I learned that pretty early on. I when I was trying to figure all this stuff out, I went door to door and I can help you be more efficient in your business. No. And the moment I said I can help you get more sales, they're like, come on in. And then I fix all the other stuff later. Like, you find what the in is, and then it's no brainer. Yeah,
there's absolutely types of motivations. So you have people who are going to go in at more sales. Not everybody. Some like medical professions, they really cringe from that, or teaching professions. You have people who go in for less cost. You have a much better, I think, for experts. In case of people who go for lower risk. So yeah, keep everything the same. Just please reduce the volatility. That would be fine, right?
Yeah.
If I have the same number of sales, but with less pills that I have to pop for my hands stop shaking in the morning, in the morning, I would be completely okay with paying for that type of a client, right? Yeah. And finally, you have people who want to look. You have the people who want to be seen as doing good things, which is not necessarily the same thing as doing good things. Some things look wrong, but they're right, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I guess that kind of leads a little into our next question is, what do people usually do wrong when it comes to pricing?
Yeah. They substitute a tough question for an easier one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a matter of strategy or tactics. Strategy and tactics are very often used as synonyms, and they're absolutely not, right? You can find a million, probably a literal million of videos out there going, hi guys, I'm going to talk to you about 3 marketing strategies or 7. None of those things are strategies, they're tactics. And I like to use an example like this. Let's say the goal is to get to the other side of some mountain. Basically, there's 3 strategies: going over it, going around it from the left side, or from the right side. That's it. Yes, you could go through it, but come on, be serious. So it's not a problem if we say, aha, okay, so we'll go around it from the left side, and we'll take the Jeep up till there, then we'll walk down, then we'll hire a boat. And it turns out there is no boat, but the river is frozen, so we can walk. Changing tactics midway is completely fine. And you can do it with webinars first, and then blogs second, and then the direct outreach, LinkedIn posts, whatever. That's not a problem. The problem is if you try to go around it, no, over it, no, over it, but from the other, no, over it again, right? That costs. Yeah. You can change tactics as much as you like. You can change strategy once every few years. Otherwise, this breaks businesses. And so you asked me about pricing. So pricing is like usually seen as an operative sales stuff. Do I give discounts or don't I?
Yeah.
That's a part of it, but it's a very, very shallow, small part of it. When I talk about pricing, I mean, like, I would like to work less than 30 hours in 5 years. How should my price look today so that I can do that? That's the kind of pricing that I'm talking about, right? That absolutely translates into how much discounts can I give and under what conditions, but also many other things. So what channels make sense, what messages make sense, what campaigns make sense, what identity, projected identity makes sense, so a brand, right? All of these things are strategic first, then tactical and operational. But what people mostly do wrong is they start with the question like, okay, I need to get more sales, right? And then rather than asking themselves, who should I be selling to, at what price, and who will I be compared with, because those things are hard, they go like, okay, so I need ads. Who does ads? Can I do ads myself? Oh, this seminar on making ads. I'll go and look at that, right? Yeah. They substitute the tough question for the easier one, the strategic for the tactical one, and this leads them astray every time, because until the core is done, you can't really tell if something is good or bad. It's a void. You can move, but it doesn't matter, right? Anyway.
No, I agree. I think, you commented on a post I made about demographics and how everybody has a very shallow appeal of what their market looks like. And there was a post it had like white male, rich, 60 years old, lives in a castle. And there was 2 people side by side. One was Prince Charles, the other one was Ozzy Osbourne. Extremely different people. And, the strategy is find the market, like it doesn't always cut across that set of metrics. It can be ethnographics, have a look at Lush, the soap brand. They've gone for a cross section, people who like, soaps and they're environmentally friendly and look after themselves. And you get everything from lawyers, plumbers, and so all of these people, this massive cross section, to look at them, that they would not stand in a room together, but they all want the same product.
This is one of the consequences that how marketing is taught. So I'm a business graduate.
Yeah.
Marketing is taught basically about product marketing. Yeah. It makes sense. Okay, who buys sardines? Canned sardines. You can even go there with some demographics. Service like yours or like mine have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Right? Pricing is fairly simple if we're talking about cans of sardines or we're talking about oil.
Yeah.
Yes, it's dynamic, but the rules are very simple. It's absolutely something else if we're talking about services. Absolutely even more to the power of 3 if we're talking about expert services, right? It's just not that simple. And those techniques that you mentioned with your video, I compare them to a lifeboat. a lifeboat is a good thing when you look at it. It's an efficient, but that doesn't mean that you should cross an ocean on a lifeboat. That's a suicide.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the technique of a man living in a castle, right? The avatar, that is necessarily bad, but it's absolutely overused and not used properly. So used properly, lifeboats are the greatest thing ever. But if you try to use just them, you're gonna die.
Yeah. So Facebook, Google ads, any kind of ads, use it in isolation. Because one of the big things and a pain point for me in marketing, people go, if I spend $1, I should make 10 in sales, and then it doesn't happen like that. It's not like not even a slot machine. It's not a vending machine. Put $2 in, get a Mars bar. It's more like, it's a little bit of an art form. You kind of have to, you're convincing people, real humans, to part with money. And sometimes it can take weeks, months, to really convince someone to, depending on the size and type of purchase, to really sort of come about and to make those changes.
Absolutely. It's not physics. It's not 2 + 2 equals 4, right? It's not, there's a rule. If I do Facebook ads, then I get money. No. It's not physics, right?
I was just going to say, and once people understand that sort of strategic side, then I think even understanding the value of ads place in these services, getting your pricing right, and getting the people that value it. There is room in the budget to spend, an acquisition cost of, 300, 400, 500,000, depending on what you're selling. It could be very much worth it, and the overall sort of cost accounting would add up to be a profit sum game. So I want to thank you for your time here today. It's been absolutely great. We've covered a lot of ground. If you're listening and you'd like to hear more about Filip and Lift-Off, then the website and his LinkedIn or Linktree will be in the episode comments. Basically, if you're tired of getting outbid from amateurs, winning cheap prices, getting in the way and not making sales, then you need to talk to Filip. It's been absolutely great having you on again. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions or you'd like to be on the show, go to relevate.com.au and fill out a contact form. Otherwise, thank you for listening and take care.